A tone poem uses an image or a story. A symphony has this kind of collective voice. A concerto for orchestra is the concerto for the musicians of the orchestra. It's showcasing them. I thought it would be wonderful today, in the 21st century, to propose and see what composers of today have to say with this very, very specific form.
My brother's a composer, my mom's a composer. My father was a violist and a violinist, and he tried to teach my brother and I Suzuki violin and stuff like that, and that was like a miserable failure. So actually they let us do our own thing, and we were both, my brother and I both became rock musicians when we were really young. I always think of that as an important thing because we wrote our own stuff, whereas a classical training, often as a performer, you end up like not even thinking about that you have that freedom because it's all about interpreting what's on a page. So I always think of that as an important aspect.
I knew the name of Sebastian Currier, of course. I must confess I didn't know his music. So I listened to a recording of one of his orchestral pieces, and I was fascinated. I mean, the density, the power, the energy. There was an immediate response from me. I said, I want to work with this guy. I want to conduct his music.
Listen directly, bar 6.
So you start, you have that horrible blank page, no idea, It made me think of the orchestra itself, because think of it, an orchestra of 80 people, I mean, they coordinate down to a microsecond. I'm not sure there are many human endeavors that do something continually like that, just on a human level, and they do that. They don't do that just for 5 minutes, they do that for the whole program. And so I wanted to sort of celebrate that, and so it's in 6 movements, and each one sort of focuses on different aspects of that.
There are many passages which surprised me. I remember the section of the echoes, and I thought, how is that going to sound? And I was surprised, I must say. I saw the structure, but I must admit I didn't imagine that the sound effect would be that fascinating.
That's the beauty of the orchestra, in a sense that it allows you to find a color for whatever you want to do, and there's usually one that maybe stands out. And there's also the idea of choosing things that are maybe not characteristic and sort of playing off that too. We take an orchestra for granted. It's been around since, 19th century, and we all know what it is. It's very familiar. But to think of what an incredible thing it is, celebrating that in 2 ways. Again, the virtuosity of the individual players, but also this sense of coordination.
There is this, in Sebastian's music, this visceral response. It's really wonderful. And I must say, the musicians of the orchestra took it very, very seriously. It's so challenging to play. Everybody was ready.
It's been, a pleasure to work with Louis, and having the time to be listened to and go over details. I mean, because, it is, music's that sort of thing. I guess all art works that way, where you have to tweak many little details, and eventually it takes on some global change, but there's no short way of doing it, and so I'm glad that we've been having the time to really work on all of those things.
I don't want a world where we would just perform pieces from people who are already dead. No, we should promote, give the opportunities to the Mozart, the Tchaikovsky of today.